Let's select a plane and scale it in x-axis, and we'll be going in edit mode to make some changes. So just press tab and go to edit mode and press Ctrl R to give 3 loop cuts. So as you can see, I have given 3 loop cuts, and in the plane mode in the edit I am selecting planes. So I have selected all the 3 planes and I'm doing inset, but inset is not uniform, so press Ctrl A and press scale. So now if you do inset, it will come in a uniform way. We are going to subdivide the selected planes, so one time is enough, I guess. On the top you'll see face and select triangular faces, but we'll go back with Ctrl Z. We don't want this effect. Let's apply triangular face directly on this simple plane. Just select face and triangular face, go back to face and then select wireframe this time. So as you can see, we have this effect. We can increase and decrease the thickness of wireframe because we have just applied a direct wireframe, and we can get rid of this planes which is in between. So if we just delete them directly, we'll have this sort of effect. This will be a very basic sci-fi panel type of thing, but we are going to edit it. We'll select the boundaries of this panels and we can extrude it to give it more thickness and give it more effect. And we can immediately bevel them with Control B, just a little bit. So as you can see, we are getting some sort of effect right now. We will be using it in our planes and various other sections in future. Select a plane and scale it in x-axis. With Ctrl R, let's give some loop cuts. Let's give 5 loop cuts. And in edit mode, we'll do exactly the same thing. We're going to increase the subdivision on the planes. Let's scratch that. Let's start over and let's just insert it first and then we'll subdivide it. So in the plane mode, let's insert it like this and then we'll go subdivision. Let's give 8 subdivisions, and now again go to face and wireframe. So immediately if you go to wireframe, you can increase and decrease the thickness from here, from the operator panels, and you will have this effect like a net effect on these planes. As you can see, we can now further move it and we can select the boundaries of this thing and we can extrude them. So we can just select the outer planes. As you can see, we can either select them individually or we can select them all at once, but it all depends upon what your requirement is. So we'll just go with some basic operation. We'll just select the, but one important thing is that you keep going back to the object mode and check how it is looking, and so that you will get an idea. In edit mode you won't get an idea. Right now let's add some cylinder. We're going to change the vertices to 8 in the operator panel, and radius also we're going to change. Basically we're trying to make some sort of very basic nut and bolt sort of thing, so we can just place it on in the corners. So we have 8 sides and we can just simply move it. With L I have selected everything and I'm going to give a loop cut with Control R. If you press Alt and select these planes, you can select all at once, and if you just scale them down, it will look like this. But at the bottom we have this plane left, so it's best we just delete it directly. We are just going to delete that. Press X and we're going to just delete by vertices, because if we press edge or plane, it won't delete it itself. So as we can see, we don't need to fill the last plane, we just have to just move it. So I'm just going to move it. I'm going to scale it a little bit with S, and at the corners I'm going to place it on top of this panel, so that we'll have some sort of mm, mechanical effect that it has bolts, nut and bolts, which can be fixed over something. So as I said, we'll be doing very basic stuff, just very basic stuff and very basic modeling will do. So right now I'm just positioning this bolt. I'm selecting the top face and I'm scaling it and extruding it again. Now let's select these planes and extrude them along the normals and insert the inside plane, and very basic bolt sort of effect we are getting. So now I'm going to duplicate it in Y direction and I'm going to select both of them and duplicate it in X direction here like this. And if I press Shift R, it will just repeat my past action, but as you can see it's not aligned. So what we can do is we can do Shift D right here, and if I do Shift R, it is not aligned right now. So I'm just going to select the last 2 bolts and then I'm going to put it back somewhere here. So as you can see, we have one more panel almost ready. Very basic, but it's very effective. And let's go to edit mode and we'll select this planes like this, and when we want to extrude, we'll just insert them and then we'll extrude them like this. So now we have a proper, very basic panel which we can use, and it has a good look. Let's move further. We'll select a simple plane, we'll insert it with I and subdivide it, let's say 8 times again. Then go to face and triangulate faces. Again go to face in poke faces. So we'll have this sort of effect. So we won't have a simple design, we'll have some sort of changes. If we go to, let's say, wireframe, let me go to face, and if we do tries to quad and if we do wireframe, you can see here after changing thickness you'll have some sort of design here, not like the previous one that we did, the basic one. So if you want some sort of changes, you can use this method, and we'll just select the outer boundary and we can extrude it, inset it and extrude it downwards. So this is what we'll get. So one more very basic panel that we can use, but a little different, not the very simple one. I have this cylinder and I have reduced its size in Z direction, and it has 8 faces. Now what we're going to do is we're going to inset both the sides like this, and we can just select the outer planes like this and we can insert them. We have to do it both the sides like this, and then we can subdivide it, let's say 5 times. So now if you go to poke faces and now if you go to wireframe, you can see both the sides will be able to achieve this sort of effect. So in the center also we can just simply extrude it, but this is a very basic form of using poke faces and wireframe. If we don't want the design, we can even directly use the wireframe to get this sort of effect. So by now you must have understood that it takes very basic steps and very basic understanding of how to get this sort of effects. We can even select the outer boundaries of this panel. I can extrude them, yeah, and then we can select the entire ring. I have already told you how to do that. Just press Alt and we can press the entire ring of planes like this, or you can select one by one because it doesn't have many planes. And we'll do extrude along normals just like this. Now we can just select the edges, the top edges, by pressing Alt and GZ. So we can move all the sides down like this. Now it is looking much better.